everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Connection. I'm your host, Donna Wilberg. Well, I am so privileged to welcome back Joseph Ernest Martin. We did our first section on what's going on with people, and we had a lot of interesting information. Tonight we're going to be talking about money, wealth, and abundance, and I'm sure there's people out there that can really use this information. So thank you for joining us, and right now let's meet Joseph.
Donna, I love being with you. You're one of my favorite people ever. It's the truth.
You're one of my favorite too. We always have a good time. Well, we covered some interesting information in the last segment about, what's going on, why are people acting so crazy. One of the things that's affecting a lot of people is their economic state. So you want to go into a little bit of your background, and then let's delve into how people can help themselves out of the hole.
Well, I've been doing psychic work for over 25 years. I do about 44 different cities every year on the West Coast. See at least 1,000 people for 15-minute little vignettes and hear about their lives, hear about their troubles too, the problems or challenges that they're having, and of course, what is more prevalent right now, money problems.
Oh, exactly. Everything is in disarray. The whole economy is just going to hell in a handbasket. So what can people do? You've got information that can help people move forward from their positions. It's
important to understand that the issue of creating wealth, money, and abundance isn't like taking a pill. And I'm just like everybody else. I would love to take a pill and have everything be solved too. And it's annoying always to find out that it takes a little bit more than that. Well, we remember a couple of years ago, right? The Secret.
Yes.
Incredibly popular. Rhonda Byrne wrote that. It became a DVD. Oprah popularized it. Well, The Secret is all about the magical intent or the energetic, passionate intent of an individual, right? You create the vision board. You have that piece of paper you fill out that starts with, I am so happy and grateful now that, ... and you fill that whole thing out. That's very important to set our intent and our magical attention into what we want to create. That actually makes a difference. And it makes a scientific difference, too.
Okay. I want to hear this part.
Well, a lot of people, like it doesn't even matter what city I'm in. Mostly what will happen is I'll say to the crowd, 30, 40 people in the audience that come to the different shows, and I'll say to them, how many people here have heard of the Hadron Collider and CERN? And one person in 40 will raise their hand. Why is that? The world's largest man-made machine on the planet? They just created the first dark particle ever out there. That is incredible. Why does this affect money, wealth, and abundance? Because we're finding out that energy responds to intent. The electron becomes a particle or a wave depending on the point of observation. Our attention changes the way matter physically acts and reacts. That's a big thing to swallow.
Wow. Wow. So we've always known it, but now we have proof. That is incredible. Wow. Well, I have to tell you, we visited you in Santa Cruz, a bunch of friends. We went to the expo there, and my friend Tina, she's been religiously saying the mantra that you gave her to create this abundance in wealth. And she's got a very high pressure job. So it's not just about money, it's about creating positivity in her life. We went to the casino. She walked in and won over $3,000.
Wow.
I mean, and she acted like, she said, I put it out there. I've been praying about it. I've been saying the mantra. I've been creating this for myself. And I thought, there's something to that.
There is.
It is like magic, and it's a state of mind. It's a state of being. It's creating that energy pattern for yourself that you're bringing that positivity to you.
Well, you can't create anything with fear because fear is blocking energy. You have to create it with attention and passion. And you know, my grandfather used to say, pray for corn, but plant the seeds. And that's really the magic of creating wealth, money, and abundance. My teachers would say it a different way. They would say to me, Joseph, people who chase money catch money. And I thought, okay. And they said, we want you to spend time with someone who has a six-figure income, but that they earn it, and see what they do. So I spent a day with a saleswoman, six-figure income that she earns herself, and I got to tell you, she chased money, and she caught money. The thing is, most people don't want to chase money. They think it is bad or dirty, or it's just an energy exchange. It's all it is. Florence Shinn, in the 1920s, wrote a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And in it is that money mantra that I gave your friend. And I'll share it with all the viewers, too, that are hearing us and watching us on the different stations. I have it memorized because it's good to say this, like when you're driving in the car out loud. You can say it in your head, too. That's good. But it's good to say it out loud. So you're driving or whatever you're doing, and you say out loud, I demand from the universe the wealth that is mine by divine right to come to me under grace and in perfect ways. Wow. Now, this affirmation, you cannot ad lib. So it has to be word for word. So for people who are watching this, roll the tape back. Well, I'll say it one more time, but roll the tape back too, and you'll get this. I demand from the universe. You're not asking maybe, or if you have time to, please give me. You say no. I demand from the universe the wealth that is mine. Not your wealth or your wealth, but my wealth. Demand from the universe the wealth that is mine by divine right to come to me under grace and in perfect ways. That is the beautiful, perfect energy to welcome wealth back into our lives.
That's beautiful. You know, there's websites that where you can go and look to see if you have missing money. You know, you may have had a bank account you forgot to close, or you may have overpaid on your taxes or whatever, but the government keeps that. It's like finding that in yourself. You've charted this. You've come with this. It's tapping into it. It's yours. It's your money. It's just finding a way to manifest it for yourself.
Well, manifestation is an important part. Being in love and of service is another huge aspect of this. If you are going after money through ego, you may well get it because of your passionate intent, but it's going to create all sorts of negative side effects for you in the long term. If you are stuck in your ego, you will block money because your ego will try to keep control and keep you in fear and keep you from your real prosperity. But if you're channeling love energy and you are of service to others, that's where the flow happens. Famous book about the Buddha. And for some reason, I always say the name a little oddly, but it's Siddhartha. I don't know if you know that book. It was an award-winning book. But it talks about where he came out of the gutter and went way into wealth and then discovered his Buddha-ness and, you know, learned his lessons. But the thing is he was completely of service to people in a loving way. And what happened? Wealth, prosperity, abundance followed that. But a lot of people don't want to do that. My teacher said to me, Joseph, if you're going to be a barista at Starbucks, then be the best barista at Starbucks they have ever had. Be the psychic barista. And they said, you will find that you will fly with wings to where your destiny is by just being of service to people in a loving way with your full attention and energy onto them. And when I have done that in business or in my personal life, what a shock. Things work out. Money comes too.
That's beautiful. And I truly believe that that's the way it works. And I have to say, too, Tina also demonstrates that love, and she's very generous. And the money came as a gift as far as she was concerned, because her mother, she just, said, my mom's coming to live with me. She needs a bed. I thought, It's beautiful, you know, provided. The universe provided for her. So I love that kind of stuff. So talk a little bit more about the DVDs that you've got and all the different ways. We've got some clips we're going to be showing and some symbols that we can talk about. Where do you want to start?
Well, just this year,
Okay.
I was at the huge Conscious Life Expo, which is held in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton.
Okay.
And I was in charge of their divination panel on, what a shock, money, wealth, abundance. And there were 6 of us there, all psychics from different disciplines, giving tips and insight to how to connect to that. And this DVD is currently still being edited. I think it's going to have about 2 more weeks still in editing. And then it's going to be available. It's available, the unedited version is right now available on the Conscious Life Expo website. But the editing one with the music and all the transitions and the fanciness, because some people wanted it immediately, so they released it, is going to be available in about 2 more weeks.
Oh, excellent. That'll be right in time for Christmas.
Right in time for Christmas. And it's about an hour and 15 minutes with 6 different psychics, including myself, of course, talking about all these issues and how to make these kind of abundant changes for ourselves. And of course, at my own website, that'll be available too, and all the places that I am. Of course, I've been doing this for a long time, so, you know, got lots of stuff. I'm a tarot guy. I love the tarot cards. Of course, I design my own tarot deck, which is why I love them. So I have a number of DVDs that I offer that help teach or instruct in tarot. Some a little bit more about the philosophy and some a little bit more about the technical nuts and bolts. Of course, the first show we did together, have people gone completely crazy, completely being the nice word.
Yes.
That's available too. And of course, my book and deck now is in 5 countries in 4 languages, so it's available just worldwide, everywhere.
That's great. You really, you know, I've known you for some time now, and you just always make me so proud. You just keep growing and growing and just making so many things available to people. Tools, you know, you're just really helping people follow their path and just giving them a boost on their journey. Let's get to a clip of your new video about money, wealth, and abundance. Take a little peek.
You know, when I was talking to my teachers, my master teachers, who are actually, by the way, real people, they're not spirits, they're flesh and blood people, they said to me, well, I should say it this way. I actually said to them, I would like more money, wealth, and abundance in my life. And they said, no, you don't. And I looked at them and I thought, yes, I do. I'm telling you, I do. I want more money, wealth, abundance in my life. They said, no, you don't. And I said, okay. Why don't I want more money, wealth, abundance in my life? And they said, because, Joseph, people who chase money catch money. And I thought, okay, people who chase money catch money. I understand all the words, but what does that mean exactly? And they said, you need to spend the day with someone who is a 6-figure income earner, not a trust fund baby, but someone who earns their money, and see how they work. So I did. I contacted a saleswoman who was very good, 6-figure income. I spent the day with her, and I got to tell you the honest truth. The first thing I realized is she works a lot harder than I do. She's up like at 5:30 a.m. She's making calls. She's making appointments. She's getting contracts signed. And by the end of the day, she said to me, you want to know how much commission I earned today? And I said, yes. And she told me, and I went, oh my God. My teachers were right. People that chase money catch money. And so we know the secret, right? Because that was very popular, visualization board. And now that's moved into the power, and that's physicalizing the action into the earth plane beyond intent and desire. Intent, desire, absolutely important. The imagining, absolutely important. Do we have the blue slips back yet? Okay, you want to hand them in? As soon as they're filled out, you want to hand those in. Handed out to you as a little green prosperity card. At least I hope that you guys got that. Why did we hand those out? Because focusing your energy and intent is a way to bring to you money, wealth, and abundance. We were talking a lot about affirmations and about how thought affects our reality. And we're going to be looking at attitude is everything. And so my teachers, who I just love them to death. I've had a lot of teachers. I've had some in Northern California, some in Southern California. And so one of the things that happens to a lot of people, and happened to me too, is this feeling of being nervous, approaching a new job, new prosperity, or new opportunity, and then needing a tool or a focus to help calm us so we can be successful in that new adventure. So I'm going to give you the one that they gave me, and I still use it to this day. Normally I do it right before I get up to speak, no matter what city I'm in, and this is how it goes. Everybody in this room loves me unconditionally. Some just have trouble showing it. When my teachers told me that phrase, I said, that's not true. You're asking me to say something that isn't actually true. And my teacher said, which world would you rather live in? Your world, where it's not true, or our world, where it is true? I went, darn, I want to live in your world. I want that to be true. So next time you're going on the interview or making that new opportunity or talking to that new client, you want to say to yourself, everybody in this room loves me unconditionally. Some just have trouble showing it.
Well, Joseph, that's certainly going to be helpful information to people, and so this is going to be available probably by the time the show airs.
Yes.
Super, super.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit more about what people can do to bring this abundance and wealth into their lives.
Well, like my grandfather was saying, you know, pray for corn, but plant the seeds.
Okay.
And so we want to be motivated and focused on what our goal actually is. And so here's what my teachers would call the hex. I know it sounds like a spell or something. It's really not. The hex is this. If you have the key to money, wealth, and abundance, and you don't do it, it means you actually don't want money, wealth, and abundance.
I guess so.
Exactly. Because some people talk a good game, but they're not willing to do anything about it. So Rhonda wrote that wonderful book, The Secret. She just followed it up with her new book called The Power. And it talks about physicalizing the energetic intent to change one's life into abundance for the better. And so what are some of the things that people can do? It's make the real decision to be of service when you are present. Most people don't. They want to show up at work. They're not even glad they're there. They're a little bit tired from the night before. And they're just trying to get through the day so they can walk out the door at 5, and they just could care less. That energy does not create money, wealth, and abundance. It might pay your rent or feed you. It doesn't create the big things. If you want to create the big things, start connecting with other people that have that same energy, where they're present, they're passionate, they're here in the now. They want to make a difference for the better. And when you do that, connecting with someone else, that multiplies it, and you get bigger effects. I was doing work for a marketing director, a wonderful man named Gary Tyler. And he was going to talk to me. He hasn't given me work in a while. This was years ago. And he said, I have a client, but he doesn't want to use you. And I said, well, why doesn't he want to use me? And he said, he doesn't really think your designs are what he wants. He wants a real tough-looking design for this financial institution. And I said, I can do tough. I can do Chinese. I can do Western. I can do anything. Give me a chance. And he goes, well, if you do it on spec. And you know what spec means. No money.
Right.
But I had said to the universe, I'll dance on the table to be in the path of prosperity. You put me in the flow of prosperity, I will dance on the table. So because I said that, you know, this came up. So I said, okay, I said this, I got to do it. So I did 5 logos. They kind of liked 1. And then I did 5 variations from that. They kind of liked 2. And then I did 5 more. By the time they picked a logo, I had done 48 logos on spec.
Oh my gosh.
So you know what my ego was saying? You fool. You've just given them all this work for nothing. But I knew the magic part, right? We got to be loving, of service, present. And I said to the universe, I'll dance on the table if you put me in the path of prosperity.
Not to mention what you learn along the way. You challenge yourself. You always learn something in the process. That's the beauty of it. You know, even if it doesn't go anywhere, you benefited in some way.
Well, when I finished that logo, the owner of the company put me on a conference call with Gary. And he said, we want to let Joseph know personally how glad we are that he worked so hard to give us just what we wanted. And of course, I'm still thinking, yeah, of course you're glad because you're not paying me. And he said, we'd like to pay Joseph for all the work he's done to this point.
Yay!
And we'd like to hire him to do the visual direction for our new company. And I thought, oh my God, this stuff really works when we really do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But most people won't do it, right? They'll say, I'm not going to take the chance. I'm not going to be of service. I'm going to, why should I? And there's other reason, and unless it comes to me this way. But if we're present and of service in a loving way, real miracles happen in abundance that we can't even predict.
I believe that's so true. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful story.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. Wow. So are there, other than doing the work, what kind of advice do you give to people to get started on this type of thinking?
Well, I would say the first thing to do, you want to make room in your life for the new abundance and wealth and excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And so really, you can call it feng shui or whatever you want, but you clean your environment, you get your clothes in order, you get your home in order, your bed sheets, your room, you do that. If you're currently unemployed, then you have lots of time to do this. Get up early, make it happen, because it makes the energy of the home conducive to flow, and that's what you want. And then put an affirmation somewhere that helps remind you of this, like the one that we shared earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to think that's one of the most fantastic ones ever. You can burn a green candle to help bring in money energy. Candle magic at this level is not curative, but it will give it a nice little push your direction. If you feel a little weak or shy, burn a red candle and a green candle. It's Christmas time anyway now, it'll work fine. Make sure that you stay attentive to what it is you want to achieve. So I'll give you an example. So I'm a tarot guy, right? So years ago, I applied for a position in San Francisco, art director of special projects. 400 people applied for that position.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And these days, I guess it's not so much these days. But
yeah.
So I made a little box. After my interview, I got everyone's cards. I was very attentive. I was working with my master teachers. On this box, on the front of it, it said, to pick the right art director, sometimes you have to consult the cards. And you open the box, and there's 5 cards face down on a clip. And it says, pick one. Well, all 5 cards are me. And they're going to look. They may pick one and go, oh, that's Joseph. Oh, they're all Joseph. They did hire me, by the way. This was years ago. They did hire
beautiful.
Me. Yeah.
You're so funny. Well, you've got a lot of great ideas. Plus, your intuitive nature is just astounding. You're channeling all this good information, and I really appreciate the fact that you're sharing it with other people. I've learned so much from you.
My job is to help make other people's lives better through the skills and talents I have. And so I use every bit of everything I've ever read, my guides, the pictures they show me in my head, the psychic information that comes into my body that I actually feel. All of that comes to my clients in the reading. I am absolutely there for them, to the point, honestly, like I can be working a whole day, even like a 10-hour day reading for people, mm-hmm. and not even know I haven't had a drink of water yet, or that I had to go use the restroom yet, because I really love being there for people.
Yeah. I've gone by your booth at an expo or something, and when you're with a client, it's like you're invisible, or everybody else is invisible. You're so involved in what you're doing, and so there for them. Well, we've got to put up some information for you, so why don't you tell everybody where they can contact you and give your information? Well,
very easy. On the internet, you can go to my website, which is questtarot.com, which is QUESTTAROT.com. I always say it like the French. And you can see me on Facebook. I always do my postings where I'm going to be there. You can search for me on YouTube, Joseph Ernest Martin, where you'll see 38 to 40, 36, somewhere around there video clips. I forget how many are up there right now. Soon to be on Vimeo in full length, full motion, high def with all the video. and Llewellyn's website, my publisher worldwide, as well as miscellaneous other ones. But that's the best place. You can also order any of the stuff that I have that you think you'd be interested in. Usually through my website's the best way to contact me.
Oh, and these tarot cards are beautiful. I wish we had time to show them to everybody. They're stunning, and you've done such a beautiful job.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, let's give a little bit of information on the Paranormal Connection. You can watch the show the first and third Monday of the month at 9 p.m. There's an encore performance Tuesday at 1 p.m., Wednesday at 5 a.m. You can go online and watch us. Go to accesssacramento.org and click on Watch 17. We're also on Comcast Channel 17 in the Sacramento area. And now we're even kind of overflowing into El Dorado County. So take a look. We're going to be on Channel 2. So people can look for us there too. If you'd like to contact me, my email address is dannasjourney@sbcglobal.net. That's DANNAS journey@sbcglobal.net. I also have a blog. The best way to find it is Google Danna Wilberg Paranormal Connection, or you can go to paranormal-connection-donna.blogspot.com. That's a long one. I'd love to hear from you. Please join us on Facebook. Type in Paranormal Connection. It'll bring you to our fan page, and you can friend us, like us, leave your comments, suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. Whew, that was a lot.
That was.
I know.
That's a long one.
So we've got 1 minute left. Parting words.
I would say if you really want money, wealth, abundance in your life, try to set aside the feelings of rejection and sadness that so many people are experiencing because of how many people are applying for work everywhere, and instead focus on the business you're going to, the people you're talking to, and follow up in positive, creative, and persistent ways rather than aggressive ways. Positive persistence at this time is the best key because there's so much static in the line. You've got to stand out in a great way.
Oh, that's beautifully said. All right, well, we've got to wrap it up. I want to wish everybody a very happy and safe holiday, and I'd like to thank my wonderful crew for coming out tonight and volunteering their time. God bless everybody, and good luck with your wealth, money, and abundance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wishing you lots of prosperity and a happy new year.
Wow, it's going to be a great year, especially.